Hello, everybody, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're from. Welcome back to another episode with me, your host, Passport Nomad, and I'm reporting to you live here from the Philippines. Before we begin, first of all, I just want to apologize and say sorry for not being online. For a couple of days, you haven't heard from me. It's because I've been sick. Let's just say I ate something that I wasn't supposed to, and it didn't agree with my body. So, therefore, yeah. Let's just say it put your boy out of commission for just a few days. So I luckily found a place to get medicine and got myself some chicken soup as I'm eating it right now, recording this. So I just wanted to come and today bring a discussion to mind that's been on my mind for a few days actually, and ever since I got here to the Philippines. I figured I didn't want to talk about it, but you know what? There's no way avoiding it. There's no way getting around it, and it has to be discussed. And what I want to discuss today is things that you should not do while traveling abroad. First off the bat, it should go without saying that you should respect the culture in the country that you are visiting because you are no longer back home. You are a foreigner in a distant land, in a distant country that is not your own. So look at it as being a house guest. Someone invited you to their house, and they offer you a seat at their table. They offer you their food, their kindness, their hospitality. And all of a sudden, you decide you want to do what you want to do, light up a cigarette, kick your muddy boots up on their new glass table they just bought. Well, they wouldn't appreciate that. Neither would you if someone did that in your home. You would want them to leave, wouldn't you? Let's just say the same rule applies when you're visiting another country that is not your own. Some countries you may visit may be highly religious and may not tolerate the kind of foolishness that we Westerners put up with in our own country. And just keep in mind, you're not in your country anymore, so your rights just went out the window as soon as you left the United States or wherever you're from. I find it better to just be quiet. If there's something that you see that you may feel is wrong in your eyes, just keep quiet about it. It's really not your business or your problem. Really, just go along about your vacation and try to enjoy what you came there for. Don't come there looking for more problems or trying to poke your nose into their politics or their business. Leave that to them and their people. Their people will correct them if they're rude to you. Just try not to be rude back to anybody else. Try not to find any kind of reason to start any kind of trouble, in other words. Now, moving right along, I want to talk about be careful what you eat, especially in other foreign countries that may be a little third world country. They may not have the same standards of cleanliness as we do in our food and our drinking water, everything else. Just be very careful and aware not to drink the water directly from a faucet in one of these places. If anything, buy yourself the bottled water fresh from the stores, the fresh water bottles like, Summit and all the big brands that are out there like Fuji and all that. It's safe to drink from those sources. Do not drink straight from the faucet, from the economy of the country that you are visiting, especially if you're in a third world country, because they have bacteria and stuff in their water, in their foods, that certain foods I wouldn't try because, they'll be hospitable, don't get me wrong. The people, they're very friendly, and they'll be friendly enough to offer you a piece of their food or something like that. You may feel rude to turn them down, but you know what? They're used to eating that food. It's how they grew up on their food, off of their water. They're used to drinking and taking things into their body that, they've been grown up on since they were kids. You're not. You're from a different country, so it may affect your body totally differently, and you will get sick. Sick as a dog. For example, what I just ate, I had no idea that this particular street food, it's called, in the Philippines, it's called pak or puck, something like this. I don't know exactly how you pronounce it, but from what I looked it up and find out what it was after the fact that I ate it and got grossly sick like a dog. It's actually, say, McDonald's, Jollibee's, Wendy's, whatever, wherever you eat at. Imagine the food that was made from McDonald's or Wendy's or Burger King was, whatever people didn't eat was being thrown in the trash. Well, homeless people will go by, they'll pick up the trash, and they'll take this food, and they'll take all the food out of the garbage and throw it all together, recook it, refry it, re-season it, everything, and then resell it back on the streets. This is what I eat, and I had no idea what I was eating until I got sick like a dog, and I was like, hey, something's wrong here, I don't feel so good, Next thing you know, I'm sweating, I'm coughing, I'm sneezing, all this mucus coming out of my nose, and, I had to take several trips to the bathroom, and, yeah, you got the idea. Let's just say for all my fellow travelers, your boy took one for the team, so you wouldn't have to. And I recommend that you do not try any of the street food. Just stick to the regular restaurants and stores that, serve the food, and grocery stores that keep the food fresh. Leave the street food alone. Moving on to the next scenario I'd like to discuss, it would be on the content of racism. Now, I'm not saying that all countries are racist or there's racism in every country, but they may not think of racism the same way that you and I do. In fact, some of them don't even know what racism is, some of the people. Let's just say they're happily ignorant in their own world. And they may not understand that certain things they may ask or say or do that might offend you, but they don't intentionally mean to offend you. Say, like, for instance, someone asked me while I was here, what are you doing in my country? Now, to someone in America, when you ask somebody that, they may get offended, like, what do you mean, like, what am I doing in your country? Like, I'm like, isn't this a place for everybody to come? I'm just here, it's my business, it's my life, all this. Why would you ask me a question like that? What possessed you to ask me a question like that in the first place? Well, sometimes these people, they don't know what they're saying and how it comes out, how it may sound to us, but they're not really doing it intentionally bad. They're just naturally curious about who you are, where you're from, and they don't know any other better way of saying or asking, hey, how are you doing? Where are you from? They want to learn a little bit more about you. And that's okay. Just try not to take it the wrong way. Now, on the other hand, when it comes to foreigners here, I have witnessed some foreigners being racist, some being a little entitled as if they're better than the people that are there in the country that they are visiting. And let's just say it's a bad look. It's a bad look primarily on all of us foreigners if one of us acts out of control here in someone else's country and acts entitled, and if they're better than everyone else and all that, that will most likely be disrespectful to the people of that country that you're visiting, and they will take it in such a way that some of them will walk away from it thinking that all foreigners from your country are like you are if you're acting this way. So I advise just be polite, be an adult, and don't say and do anything that'll disrespect the host country that you're in. Again, you wouldn't want them doing it to you in your home. Don't do it to them in theirs. And on that note, I'm going to end this video with all that said. And I'm just going to say thank you for your time, your patience, and thank you for staying with me all this time, supporting my channel. Please subscribe, Like, share, and comment. Have a good day.